Good morning, everyone. I'm Lenora Bresler with the Bible, Delight in the Details, the January 9th, 2017 edition. We're looking at Psalm 23 and recognizing that every phrase in that beloved psalm is an actual professional shepherding term. Today we're going to look at two more of those phrases. Thou preparest a table for me in the presence of mine enemies, and thou anointest my head with oil. Now, in an earlier session, we talked about the fact that the Psalm 23 really records a year in the life of a sheep, and that the sheep are taken from the lower elevations into the higher elevations during the late spring and summer, when the snow-capped mountains have thawed and the running water has created lush pasture lands for the sheep up in the high elevations. These are known as the mesas or tablelands. We're familiar with that term from the southwest of America, tablelands. Now, when the shepherd takes the sheep up to those higher elevations through those canyons, those valleys of the shadow of death where the predators are waiting for them, when he gets almost to the high lands, he leaves the sheep briefly. He leaves under shepherds in charge of the sheep. Oftentimes, by the way, these are in real life, these are teenagers. And he goes away for 2, sometimes 3 days ahead to prepare the land where they're going to stay for a little while. And the way you prepare a tableland, it can be very difficult because although there's a lot of lush grass for them to eat, there are also weeds and poisonous plants, particularly in Israel. And so the shepherd has to go up and actually puts like almost seasoning on the grass, as well as meticulously pulls out anything that would be poisonous or dangerous. Now, interestingly, although this is not always the case, but many times the shepherd is away for 3 days. And to Christians, of course, that 3 days away really rings true because that refers to and makes us think about the resurrection on the 3rd day. But it's 1 day to get to the tablelands, 1 day at least to deal with the issues there, full working days and nights, and then a day to return. But it can be longer than that as well. Now, I told you that the club or the rod is sometimes used, and that is to beat up areas where there is a lot of, if there's a lot of roots or there's a lot of those poisonous weeds. So sometimes the rod is used as well. Isn't that like what Christ does for us? Christ always goes before us and prepares where we're going. He is the God of the future. He can lead us because he's already been there. He's already been through death. He's been through resurrection. He can lead us in those things, just like a shepherd always goes before the sheep and prepares things and then comes back to lead the sheep on. Now, the other phrase we want to cover today is, thou anointest my head with oil. Particularly in the Middle East, there's a particular insect that gets into the ear of sheep. And when it does, it's literally in the head of the sheep, and it drives them mad. The sheep are so aggravated and irritated by this insect that has crawled into their ear that they will literally run at a rock and try to bash their heads in order to relieve the pain and the irritation. So it is very, very important that these bugs be kept out of the ears. Now, if one of these insects does get in the ear of a sheep, the only thing that can be done is to completely immerse the sheep. I remember when I was a little girl and I would get dirty, my granddaddy would say, we need to run you through the sheep dip. Apparently, a sheep dip is like a great big bathtub for sheep, and they have to be completely immersed, including in their ears, and then the water goes in, and when it comes out, the insect hopefully will float out. Of course, we can't help as Christians to think about baptism with that, but if there is not already an insect inside the head of the animal, what shepherds do is there is a special oil that has something in it, some kind of ingredient in it that is anathema to those insects. They will not go around that. So the shepherd anoints the head, particularly the ears, but the entire head of the sheep with this oil, thereby preventing something bad going in through the ears and causing them to well, frankly, almost kill themselves. So, what is that? What does that mean to us? I think that one of the things it means is you do have to worry about what you're hearing. What are you listening to? What are you anointing your head with the word and with good thoughts and with right thinking? The shepherd prepares tables for us, and he anoints our head with oil. It is a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful metaphor for how God takes good care of us as sheep. I'm Lenora Bresler. Please join me tomorrow for the next edition of the Bible, Delight in the Details. And in the meantime, please go over at 7:30 to my friend Wade Fanstock's Facebook. He goes live at 7:30 for prayers with Father Wade. Have a great day. Bye now.